was September of 2013, and she just woke up one morning and was crying and said her back and her stomach hurt, and she was running a really high fever. And so we took her in on a Saturday morning, and he just basically said he thought there was a bug going around and to just kind of ride it out. She started feeling better, so she went back to school, and that Friday was a triathlon for St. Jude's. So she was riding around real excited, just like every other kid was, and all of a sudden she just stopped and she started crying. And I went over to her, I was like, "What's wrong?" And she said, "I'm just tired, I'm really tired, I want to stop." By that night, Katie was looking really red in the face, like when a kid has a high fever. So I checked her, and she was running 104 again. And I'm like, "What is going on with you?" You know? So I took her back to the doctor, and he said, "It's probably just not through its course. So let's watch her for a day or two and see how she does." And she just never got better. So they ended up doing blood work, and her blood work didn't look right. From that point, they admitted her, and they did a couple of more blood tests.
Did some ultrasounds. She was still vomiting, not a whole lot, but there was still some vomiting. There were still some other symptoms that still weren't quite matching how she was presenting.
Yeah. They had done a blood test, and they actually sent it to the Mayo Clinic. That ended up being actually a pretty important test for her.
It was on Wednesday when we got a call from an oncologist at Cook's, and he did confirm that it was leukemia, and started laying out the process that afternoon.
They did a bone marrow biopsy, they did a spinal tap, they put in her port, and they started chemo all in the same day. I remember specifically going into one of the playrooms, and there was a little girl in there who had no hair, and she was wearing a mask to keep her from getting germs, basically. And I remember Katie staring at her and just did not want to look at her, didn't want anything to do with her. And I remember thinking, she has no clue what she's about to go through. At the beginning, it was really hard. We had to hold her down to do everything. She really just thought we were being mean to her. She didn't understand. So trying to explain to a 4-year-old that they have cancer is really hard.
Being able to stay here to do treatments with Katie at Shannon was invaluable. There were a few times when we had to go to Cook's for spinal tap on Monday, turn around, go back on Thursday for another treatment that we had to do there. But if we would have had to keep up that schedule, we've talked about where we would have had to probably sell our house and move. Every nurse at the Women and Children's Clinic has been wonderful for Katie when we go get treatments, when we get hospitalized.
We've gotten so familiar with the staff at Shannon. We know them really well. They know us. They know her. They know how she is. That's really important, that she's comfortable, because it can be scary. They all have training and they all know what they're doing, and it's been a pretty good experience.
We're very lucky in that we get to send our nurses to the APON course, which is the chemo provider course. It's a 2-day course that they go and they learn about all sorts of chemos. And right now I think we have 4 or 5 certified chemo nurses on the floor, so that helps the families out a lot.
She had 3 blood transfusions, 3 platelet transfusions,
3, yeah.
And was hospitalized 3 times. 2 of them were here at Shannon, and that was nice too. We could do all that here.
There's times because of the medication she takes, it knocks out her immunity, and so you're very susceptible to infections. And so there are times that, and Katie was pretty lucky. She only had 2 or 3 times where that knocked it down so low that she got sick, and then she had to come to the hospital and get medication until her white cells, her ability to fight infection on her own, could come back.
Because we have the nursing education for cancer treatments, we can give her chemos here, so she hasn't been having to travel to Cook's that much. With the chemo, we give it in a syringe pump, which CMN has provided as well. And then, of course, the playroom. She utilizes the playroom every time she comes. So there's education, there's equipment, there's toys here. She uses everything that CMN provides.
All these things are important. That makes it so much more valuable to be able to stay in town to receive as many treatments and as much care as you can here, so that when you are feeling good, you get to be able to spend time with your friends, and it's not so isolating.
There were times when we could leave the hospital and take a break and go get a Coke or go get something. She could take breaks. That was one thing that always got me. She never got to leave the hospital. She never got to take a break. She was always in her skin, But she did it so well. When she lost her hair, she didn't care. When she gained the weight from the steroids, she didn't care. She just took it in stride. She found the bright side to everything, and that really changed my perspective on life. And I don't think it'll ever go away, because she really has changed my life. So she's a miracle, just how she finds the joy in everything that she does.
She's now been cancer-free for 2.5 years, so she's doing well. She's kind of one of those miracle stories that she and her parents, they stuck it out, and it looks like they've got the cancer whip. She's got a really good chance to stay cancer-free.
I'm just so blessed to have her in my life. She's such a great kid. I hate that she had to go through the things that she did, but I know that there's a purpose and a reason for everything. It's just made all of us stronger, you know, as a family. And she's been a miracle in my life. I never thought that I could be as strong as I am, but watching her, you know, you have no other option but to be strong, you know, because she is. She just did everything with a smile on her face. Please support Children's Miracle Network.
And help a miracle kid
like me.